G'day guys, I am doing a layout today with some products that were gifted to me from Scrapbook Fantasies up in Gladstone. Now these guys have got both a bricks and mortar store and they also have an online store. So if you're nowhere near them, you can still get their products. A lot of their products that they have, this particular one, it is designed by Alicia Redshaw. And I have to say their quality is amazing, and I have used their stuff before. And this particular cut apart sheet, no, it's not called a cut apart sheet, it's called a creative builder, they call it, and it's called On the Farm, and it does have a number next to it, and I will have that all linked in the description below for you, so you can grab yourself something like this if this is what you're after. Now I actually, little known fact, I actually spent the first 6 years of my life on a farm in Rathdowney, and that is where I actually come from. So I know I do have a few subscribers down that way, and I've just got to say I had already printed these photos out, and when this amazing box full of goodies turned up for me to use on my channel, first of all, I have to say thank you so much. Like, I really truly appreciate it. And to the Scrapbook Fantasy family, I'm going to say family because, you know, it's an all-in game with them. It is amazing. Alicia actually does live scrapbooking pretty much every night, I think, at about 7 o'clock Queensland time. So go check her out if you have not found her or seen her stuff before, especially if you're an Aussie. A lot of their stuff as well that I have used previously is Australian animals and Australian, which is really good because we don't always get that with a lot of our collections that we get out here. Now I'm using the MARTE premium watercolor half pan watercolors. The reason I'm using these is because you can also get these at Scrapbook Fantasies. So I decided that I would pull these out. I haven't used them for ages and ages. I have so many supplies that I literally cannot use every single supply. I just don't use them very often. But I love them, and they're really bright, and I love them. You can see what I'm doing there. So I spritzed my watercolors and left them sit off to the side while I did the fussy cutting, and I'm adding the watercolor to a piece of plastic and I'm mixing it on there, and I'm getting a variegated color. I'm trying not to add too much water to this paper because I haven't put gesso down, because I don't like watercolor on top of gesso. I like it to, and this is not watercolor paper either. So I just wanted a variegated, nothing too specific. I'm just getting some color in the background. That's what I want. As you can see, the photos are taking up a lot of space. You don't have to be perfect at doing this. Just getting color down, and I'm just swishing it across the page. Add a little bit of water if it's not what you like. It's a watercolor. A good thing with the watercolor is you can wet it and dilute it, and you can lift it off a little bit if you go a bit too far. Now, I like getting all of the product out of my tubes. I do this with makeup too. So I just cut the tubes in half, and then I can scoop out the paint and go from there. Now that is my MONT Studio acrylic paint. It's titanium white, and it is completely opaque. It is light fast. It is pigment goodness. I love it. You can build it up. So as you can see what I'm doing here. So I've got a makeup brush. I just rounded off the corners a little bit on it. Makeup brush. It's a sponge. Makeup sponge. And I'm just creating a cloud dish sort of looking clouds, I suppose, in the top part of there, just to break up the blue just a little bit. And it's not going over the top. I'm not creating lots of stuff, but this is a way that you can create extra interest in your background, because every time I put this down and lift it up, it's leaving a line. It's adding more interest and more depth to your layers. So it's nothing, it's not difficult, it's super simple. All I did with it though, so it wasn't so stark white, I do have a little bit of the dark blue watercolor on there as well. And that paint is an acrylic paint. So once it dries, it's then set. It won't, you can go over the top of it because it won't change the color. It locks it in. So now this is a piece of vellum. This is their printed vellum. Did I write it down? If I read the right section. Okay, it's called Snow Princess. It's printed vellum. These guys have got oh, Jen's home from school. Sorry. She always does that. She's got to pop in there and show you her things. She got a little dinosaur. I've got these little rubber silicone things all over my craft room. She brings them home from school. She gets them in prize boxes or something. I don't know. But anyway, I love this vellum. It's called Snow Princess, and you kind of can't focus on it. I guess it looks like ice. It's difficult to focus on. Apologies for stopping there. And it's easy to tear the edge. You get a white edge, but nothing dramatic. There you go. I just showed you Jen's results from school. That kid, I tell you, she's blowing my mind. She's taken to high school like a duck to water. It's amazing. Now, I wanted this particular, you saw me cut the center out of this piece of vellum because I want it to stretch across and cover all of the back. I don't mind if it's a bit sort of patchy. That doesn't bother me with see how that bit at the bottom is a bit patchy, because I'm going to put things over that off my cut apart sheet. So that doesn't really bother me. This is something do with caution. When it comes to vellum, liquid glue is not your friend. Okay? I know I'm putting on here a teeniest dots of art glitter glue. It didn't buckle. It didn't warp. It didn't do anything. Just that teeny tiny bit. Now, see that circle? It comes up in tomorrow's video because it didn't make it onto this one. It's from scrapbook.com. It's a chipboard piece and it's like messy circles. I don't know what it's actually called. It didn't have it on the packet that it came in, but I'm sure if you jump on their website, you'll see it. I will jump on and endeavour to link all of the things that I've used that they have in their store so you can get to them easily. Now, see how I'm going through here. Now, that remember was also what do they call them? I'm trying to use their exact terminology. It's called title cuts, they call them. Title cuts, and it's called remember, and it comes cut out for you. So for those of you that watch, and I know I've got quite a few of you that don't own an electronic cutting machine, but you really want to try cut files, this is the shop for you. Go to these guys. They have got so many titles and they're large and they're big. It's fantastic, honestly. And you can get them and you can give them a try. This one was just a cursive remember, and because I think the terminology is serendipitous. I was going to scrap this anyway, and this literally worked perfectly for me. So in these photos, this is just some random photos of Lyons Road, etc. down at Rathdowney, and if you look in the middle bottom photo, that's actually my grandparents' farm from which they sold years ago, and they're on a different property now. My grandfather unfortunately has passed away, but my nan's still there with my uncle on the same property. And yeah, it was the family farm. It was where we spent Christmas every year, and it was all, I mean, my mum and dad got married, my stepmother and my dad, like my mum and dad got married there. It was lots and lots of really good family memories there, you know, all being together, and no family feuds or anything, just everyone comes together, everyone gets together, you know, everyone having a sleep on the deck out the front, you know, Christmas Day when it's sweltering hot, and going down to the creek and having a swim, you know, things like that. It was awesome, and it was great memories for me. And whenever I'm feeling super stressed, the country is where I head, because it just calms me down. I love it. So I have two places that do that for me. I have obviously Rathdowney by Desert, that area. I still have family down there now, and I also have family out at Woodford, and that's where my dad's side of the family came from originally, from Belthorpe. And yeah, we've still got a lot of, you know, Eaton's Lane, all that sort of thing down there, because Eaton is my maiden name. And yeah, so it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And yeah, it's really nice. And this cut file, this cut apart sheet, it was totally exactly what I needed for this layout. And I've had these photos printed for a good 6 weeks now, and I've just been sitting on them because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I absolutely love how this came out. I really, really do. It was perfect. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks for that. Or whoever packed the stuff that came to me. I absolutely love it, and it worked perfectly. So they still actually have, in the photos, they still had the same barn, you know, the hay barn that they used to store. Well, there was a couple of big sheds, and still got all the cattle yards and all the fences and stuff. And the train line goes straight between their property. So there was the creek side of the property, and then there was the hill side of the property. So yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely wonderful memories. Hence why Remember was perfect. So that was going to be, I was just having a play with where I wanted the title to go. I just want to make an observation. I'm not recommending it, but don't use wet glue on normal vellum. But this vellum, I used my art glitter glue, and I just used a small stream of it, and I've got to tell you, it worked to perfection. It didn't in any way warp it or distort it at all. It was fantastic. So, and it's quite a heavy vellum. It's not really thin. So I'd be curious to know what it's like in comparison, because I've only ever used, to be honest, I've used Creative Memories vellum. I use tracing paper a lot because it's cheap. But this particular vellum, it's pretty good quality, I've got to tell you. So I'm wondering if it's comparable to Lawn Fawn. Is it Lawn Fawn that has the vellum that you can heat up and it doesn't warp? I wonder if it's like that. I might hit up Alicia and see if it is like that. Or I can have a play. Oh, actually, I used all of it. I used a whole lot. I used a lot. Except for those couple of teeny tiny little strips on the side there. Now, I did pull out a couple of stamps to use on this page, but in the end, I chose not to use them. I cut down, so it came with two little banners, but because I cut that red barn strip, that wood strip, I cut it to just give me something to ground the barn and the house on down the bottom. I decided to use it for my little banner sections, and because I wanted to use those words, because they are all singly words that describe our time on the farm. You know, whenever we were on the farm, we had really good memories. We had it was family. We were happy. We were all together. It was obviously the farm because there was, you know, the cows, the calves, there was pigs at one point. There was chickens, you know. So there was all sorts of things going on that farm, which was pretty cool. Now I leave this in for you, but I do come in with some pens and fix it. I thought I could use the MARTE alcohol pens. I thought I could go around the edges of it like I use my Ecoline pen with my black, and I'd get a nice brown border. I persisted. Give me 10 points for persisting, but I did not like how it looked. It looked blotchy. It was, the alcohol ink was soaking right into the core of the paper, and I didn't like it. So it's, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it might be American Crafts white textured cardstock. If I'm wrong, please correct me if you know exactly what they cut, what Scrapbook Fantasies cut their cardstock on, but that's what it feels like to me, which I use that same cardstock. So it's not a negative, it's an observation. It's probably more the fact that I'm still learning with the alcohol markers, and it was probably more the marker being too juicy. But I do fix it, and it's not a problem. I fix it. I could have gone over it with ink. I could have gone over it with paint. I could have coloured the whole thing in with the pen. I could have done all of those different options, okay? All of that would have worked. But I actually wanted the title to stay white, just with a bordered edge on it. So, see, when you sit it down, it just looks a bit blotchy. Wasn't a fan. Pulled out my MONT Duo markers. These are an older pack. The new packs that you get have a different different picture on the front, but it's the same markers. And I pulled out the dark, it looks like a grey, but it's not. It's the colour inside is like a dark brown. And I don't make you watch me do all this, but I do go around the inside and draw my border, because I don't make you watch it all because it's really boring. As you can see, I sped it up. And once I get around there, that looks much better. Much happier with that. It was a little bit fiddly, but that's, I don't mind fiddly. That works for me. And what else can I tell you? I absolutely love this layout. It turned out so nice. Now, I am gluing that down. It is going to go across the vellum and across the photos at the top, just to really, really pop, and it stays nice and solid and straight. This is what my titles would look like if I didn't do an offset. Totally up to you. What you like, what you do, it's all yours. I did go over the little red poppies. I did put a little bit of bling in the center of the, I'm calling them poppies. I don't know, they're not really poppies. They're just red flowers. And I just run around the outside edge of a few of the words and stuff, just to highlight them a little bit more with the same brown that I went around the title with. And it starts coming together. I absolutely love this. Let me know what you think. I will have everything listed below. I'm going to do my shameless plug. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that sort of thing. Share my page, share my channel with people. I've also got my Facebook group and Instagram linked below. I will also have the Scrapbook Fantasies shop listed below as well. And it was at this point that I realized I didn't leave a space for me to journal. That is not going to make it look really odd when it's on the page. Now, I know this is sticking up higher than the 12 by 12, and that's why I went up and not out. I don't mind the fact, and if it does bother me down the track, I will remove it and I will make like a flip flap with it. I'll do something like that with it. But I just used the tag that was on the cut apart sheet as well. Sorry. Yes, Creative Builder sheet. I've got to get it right. They call it something slightly different, and I think it's important to get it right. So with that sheet, I'm literally using every last little bit and I'm trimming it to the way I want it to work on my page. And as you can see, I've got that tag now that slides in the back that gives me plenty of room to journal on, but it's not on the front of the page. Yeah, I did. I could have probably written it on the green right at the very, very bottom, but I didn't want to do that. I don't know why, I just didn't want to do that. So I decided to pull out my crocodile and add an eyelet onto it. Now these are called We Are Standard eyelets, and I used the red set just to tie in with the red wood, just to give that red an extra pop. That way I've got 3 lots of red on the page, so it doesn't look like it's odd. Now I did put that little picture on the back of this tag because I truly didn't know where else I would put it. If you notice above the barn down the bottom there, I used the smaller version of that one and it fit in there perfectly. It looked really good. So once I did that, this horse, okay, they had horses. My Auntie Karen had horses all the time, but it didn't fit. It just didn't fit on the page. So I haven't thrown it out. I did fussy cut it, and I've got the horse, the red barn, and I've got that other tag left over. So I've put that back into my Scrapbook Fantasies box that I've got going on at the moment, and it may pop up in another video. I've added some twine to the top of it, and that is my layout done, guys. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to pop over to Scrapbook Fantasies, check out what they've got. It's unique. It's all designed by Alicia, and Naomi John, I believe, does some as well. That's her daughter. It's a very family affair. You can order online, or if you're up in Gladstone, go check them out. They're fantastic, and they always come down to craft fairs and stuff too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share my page, all that sort of stuff, and that's my layout done. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.